We're in Sumner, which is the very nice seaside suburb of Christchurch in New Zealand, and it's very nice because I live here. It's part of it anyway. Now how do I get this thing away? Here we go. It's a nice early autumn Friday afternoon, people enjoying themselves on the beach, but we're not here for a swim, but we're here in front of this beautiful surf life-saving clubhouse, which is brand new. It was built after the earthquake of 2011. Well, it was only finished in 2015, I think. And we're here to look at this car, which is a 1965 Daimler V8. And if I can keep it focused, we'll be walking towards it. This is a 1965 Daimler V8, and it came to New Zealand from Australia, and the Australian number plates are still on it. And there's a bit of a history behind it. The last owner, or the owner until a few years back, Mrs. Jackie O'Donnell, or Jackie Griffiths, bought it in 1982 from the estate supposedly of the original owner, and she had it until it was then she moved to New Zealand in 2006 and brought it with her. Her partner was a guy called Tom Stevenson, if I remember correctly, and a lot of the receipts are issued in his name. The car had a lot of work done to it, like it had a complete engine overhaul with new valves, new pistons, new bearings, new everything, and a lot of that work that was done, and we have receipts for that, in Australia in the 90s, and there was also then some work done here in New Zealand after it came to New Zealand in 2006. Well, just to carry on with it, it's got brand new tires on it, which are not even mentioned on the list of receipts. It's got a stainless steel exhaust system. The radiator was new in the 90s, and the car has not basically done any mileage since. I mentioned stainless steel exhaust. The distributor was overhauled. It had a power steering pump, a power steering overhaul. It had a transmission overhaul. It had the rear and front bumper re-chromed. It had all the interior redone, and there is a receipt there for leather repairs in the 90s of 900 Australian dollars, but my belief is that the whole leather interior and the door cards and have been redone after that, because they are brand new, and you couldn't have done all this work for, even in the 90s, for $900 Australian. The car was also repainted in the 90s, and then it came to New Zealand, and from what I've been told, this Mr. Tom Stevenson, who looked after the car and did all the restoration work for Mrs. Jackie O'Donnell, or Griffith, he then died in 2013 or thereabouts, and the car, Mrs. Jackie O'Donnell then gifted the car to somebody whose name I forget. I was told he was a relative and he helped with the restoration of the car. Anyway, what happened is that the car was stripped and repainted in Australia, and we've got photos of that, but they must have used a system of base coats and top coats that didn't like each other, because the paint started falling off in big pieces, and that's when basically the last owner had enough, and he didn't have the means to redo it all. So that's when I bought the car and we finished it off. We stripped it again back to bare metal, and repainted it, and we have done about 22 Mark II and Daimler V8s, so I'm sure that there won't be any problems with the paint on this one. Right, what else can I say? It's got wire wheels, which are not brand new, but as they say, they're serviceable. Right, well, I hope that you can see what the paint looks like. It's a metallic green, which was an original Daimler and Jaguar color at the time. All the chrome work is in brilliant condition. There's receipts there for well over 23,000 Australian dollars going back to the 90s, and obviously in the early 90s hourly rates and everything was a lot cheaper than it is now, so that would probably amount to twice that in today's figures. This is the original Australian registration sticker on the windscreen, South Australia. The car lived in Adelaide all its life until it came to New Zealand, and this registration sticker expired in 2001. There's also an insurance thing there also from 2001, and then the car was basically off the road completely, and then came to New Zealand in 2006, as I said. Now, what else do we need to show here? The car, it's okay. Let's have a look in the boot. Pretty dark in here after the glaring daylight. Got a nice boot mat. The boot was back to bare metal. There's a photo of that as well. All the side things are all like new. Right, well, let's have a look inside, and there's one thing, that door clicks into place really nicely, and so does that back door. Right. Alright, we come to the interior. The door panels are like new. It's got a piece of carpet in here to protect the other brand new carpet. It's a 2.5 litre automatic, of course, V8, which of course the Daimler V8s all were 2.5 litre V8s. The hood lining is brand new, and as I said, all the leather upholstery is in as new condition. The woodwork, I'm sure, has been redone at some stage as well, but there is no receipt for that. It's got an original looking radio which doesn't work. I mean, they're pretty useless things anyway, because they're only FM, they're only AM or whatever it's called. Right. The steering wheel on these things is adjustable by turning this. You can pull the steering wheel out or push it even further in, depending on your knee height. And yeah, the instrument panel, very nice. All the wood over the doors. It's got brand new seat belts in the back, 2 in the back and 2 retractable seat belts in the front. The backrests on Daimlers are actually adjustable to go backwards and forwards. The seats, of course, are adjustable. They've got little armrests. The Daimlers were a little bit more luxurious than the Mark II Jaguars. Right, what else do I need to show? On the interior, sun visors. It's got, which is on at the moment because the door is open, it's got a courtesy light in the back there. Again, all door panels in really good nick. So are the backs of the door panels and the carpets. Again, we've got some mats there that just cover the carpet underneath. Right, okay, let's go have a look in under the bonnet. Right, and here we go. And I just started the car up again. It starts beautifully on the, even if it hasn't run for a while, it starts on the push of the button. And okay, here we are, 2.5 litre V8. The car is matching numbers. It's got, see, the most you can hear is the fan belt here. All the numbers on the plate match the number on the engine, etc. I'll just turn it off because I'm not sure how well you can hear me. Right, as I said, it's got a power steering fitted, which is the tank for that is this. It's had a new radiator. All the brakes have been overhauled and all that. The battery is pretty new. The distributor has been overhauled. The carburetors have been overhauled. They've got twin carbs with a manual choke. Right, what else is there that I need to mention? Not sure. We're still waiting for some new mats to go on this, so that'll be done when it leaves here. Right. Yeah, I think that's about it. I will now take it back to the workshop and make some video, take some videos while I'm driving it, which is of course highly illegal, but right. Okay. Door shut. Bonnet shut. And here it is. This building is just absolutely for what it is, a real architectural treat. You know, it goes very well with the wave theme, which we obviously, as I said, it's the Surf Life Saving Club's new building. And I thought that it would make quite a nice backdrop. Right, now here we're taking off from that place. We've got some nice palm trees here which are not indigenous. Now we'll come past a cliff face here, and that was one of the majors of the earthquake, because 15 meters of that broke off, and all the houses that used to be up there had to be removed. Some of them actually partly fell down. Looking out at the sea here now, and this structure there is called Shag Rock, and it was twice as high before the earthquake, before everything fell down. Yeah, you know, there's still the streets, as one can probably see by the camera movement, still need to be repaired, and that is a good thing, because you can hear that the car is going over all these bumps and everything without a squeak. It's really suspension wise and so forth, it is really very good. It's because of the power steering, you can easily steer it with one hand, obviously. Power steering, particularly on these model, helps parking them. And as you can see, there's lots of bumps and things in the road, but the car swallows it perfectly. I just have to keep on the lookout for some police cars, because they are known to like to come out here on their routine drives for a coffee, I suspect. We've got the fuel light on, which we like, because when we ship the cars we need to drain all the fuel out anyway, so it is always good if there's not much in there. People are looking at me a little bit strange, and they see the camera here, and it's not a GoPro, is it? Right, but I'll keep the camera going, because we come to a stretch now where we've really got some bumps in the road that haven't been repaired, and the car glides through it beautifully. See the oil pressure there, it's very good. Now we come to this area where we really hit some major bumps here. I know, but because I drive here several times every day. Whoops and whoops, and another one, and not a squeak, not a rattle, not a clonk. Right, this is what is called the causeway here, and it's low tide. Obviously at high tide all this estuary is filled up with water, and this is a very popular area for kite surfing and windsurfing and sailing, because even at high tide, and it's particularly the area in our front here, at high tide, people come off their boards and stuff, and they're only waist deep in water, because it's really flat, and it has actually become flatter with the earthquake, because the whole bottom of this area has lifted by about 80 centimeters. So there was quite some damage done here. There's another new community building here that's just been finished, because the old one was pulled down after the earthquakes. So this road is being redone, and I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's pretty good. Anyway, when we come back, we will have a look at these receipts that are on this on the passenger seat here, and then I'll get my workshop guy Titch, who did the restoration, well, you know, whatever part we did in the restoration on this car, and I'll let him drive it up and down the road so you can get an impression of that. So we're coming away. This is the water sport area here. We're on high tide, very, very popular. All right, I think that's probably sufficient. Now this is our workshop here behind the bushes in the industrial area of Woolston in Christchurch, and I just thought I will just take the car down the road here just to see you that it can actually accelerate quite nicely. So we'll do that now, and the engine is running and you can't hear it. It's oops. It idles on very, very low right, you have to push that lever right up to the park position for it to start, but we can see there it idles on just, I don't know, 150 revs or something like that. You can't hear it, but anyway, put it in gear, make sure nobody comes, and here we go. The speedo is a bit sticky at times. Right, now here go the brakes. Don't want to make it squeal, but everything that we could check works, like indicators, brake lights, lights, etc. And again, because of the power steering, it's so easy. And although it's, how old is it now? 65 to 50, is it over 50 years old? Yes, it is. Oh God, I must be old. You could use this as everyday transport. Right, okay, hit the brakes again. Right, okay. Now I'll get my man to drive it up and down the road after we had a look at the receipts. Right, there's a whole pile here of documentation and receipts. This is the last Australian registration, which was from 2001. And in Australia they get new registration paper every year, but anyway, this is the last one. This is the ownership history. It was purchased by Mr. Rash in Stirling in South Australia. But it says here, it doesn't say when. Then Jackie Griffiths or O'Donnell and Tom Stevenson, they purchased it in 1982 of the estate of that man. Then it says here 1990, yeah, we've got a receipt of that. The car was insured with Shannon's. 1994-98, a car underwent mechanical overhaul and body restoration and repaint in South Australia. Well, the repaint wasn't very successful. 2006, the car came to Australia. In 2015, and that was with Mr. Stevenson and Miss or Mrs. O'Donnell, who were a couple. Miss Jackie Griffiths then gifted it supposedly to one of her relatives called Michael Gordon, and he didn't carry on with it for much longer, but straight away sold it to Mr. Bryce Strong, who is a Justice of the Peace here in New Zealand, and I bought it from him. And Well, Mr. Bryce Strong has tried to get or started to get the car on the road in New Zealand, and there's some documentation before he basically gave up. I think justices of the peace do that for nothing, and I don't know what other job that man had. Here is an itemized thing, what was done to the car, and it's not complete because, as I said, there's no receipts for the new leather interior and for various other bits and pieces. You can see that Mr. Tom Stevenson, this is the address in New Zealand here. Mr. Tom Stevenson, this EH Auto Body Restorations, they did all the panel beating and the painting on it. There's a whole thing for that. And here's receipts for new pistons, new valves, new this, new that, radiator mounts, steering column balls, steering joints, gaiters, exhaust valves. Yeah, just messes of receipts here. And as I said, this here, he's counted this up, and that he comes to well over $23,000 here. And as I said, a lot of this was started in 1990, when hourly rates and everything was probably half the price of what it is now. So anyway, this is of course available for everybody to peruse if they're interested in purchasing this superb machine. All right, we'll drive it up and down the road, and then hopefully that will be sufficient documentation of a really well restored car. Right, so this is Mr. Richard Finlay, called Titch Finlay, well-known restorer in this country. Now the sun is right in my face and I can't even see where I'm pointing with the camera. I'm sorry about that. Right, it does go. Oh, where is he? Ah. Right, so this should be enough of documentation on this 1965 Daimler V8.